Okay, so does everyone have their access to turn on their cameras and mics? Hopefully, I think I added everyone. Most panels. Okay. All right. I think I got you all. So how are you? My name is Leah Simpson. I'm project manager here at CKC. I've been working here for about a year, a little over a year now. And we are here. I'm actually based in Miami, Florida. It's nice, steamy and hot here. I have been using CoCentral database for about 9 years as an OFA and then now as a project manager. So I'd like to just go around and have everyone mention your name, your title if you like, where you live, and company, and what system you're using. You can start with, I can name maybe Holly. You're the first on my list.
Actually, this is Stephanie Welch. Holly couldn't make it today, so I'm sitting in for her.
Awesome.
And I'm with McGough Construction and been with them for about 20 years and work out of the Dallas office and working in the CoCentral unit platform.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Next, we have Natalie.
I'm Natalie Price with Krause Anderson out of Minneapolis. We've been using CoCentral Uninet for about 13 years. And I'm in the marketing BD group.
Awesome. Welcome. Suzanne, it's on the call with you earlier. How are you?
Hi. My name is Suzanne Bayer-Tidrow, and I'm the CRM administrator for CoCentral at Colliers Engineering and Design. And I've been here for about 2 years, but we've been using, I think CoCentral, we've been using it for 5 years. So, yeah.
And then we have Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber. I work with Natalie. So I work at Krause Anderson out of Minneapolis, use CoCentral.
Yeah, awesome. Welcome. Mary?
Yeah, I work at Geotex Engineering in our DFW office, and I am the marketing systems administrator. I'm kind of underneath the OFA using CoCentral, and we've been using it for about 2 years now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And last, we have Beth.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm with APD Engineering and Architecture. We're a full service architectural firm and engineering firm. And I'm the director of marketing. We also use Uninet CoCentral about 5 years now.
Okay, great. So we're all in the same boat, so we can speak our Uninet language. So we are here to talk about workflows. So first question is what kind of workflows are you guys using? Anyone have any cool workflows that really help you?
I use workflows to remind people of events that they have coming up in the database. I also use them to notify client managers and assistant client managers of new events and opportunities that get created on their company record. And then we also use workflows to remind people of their opportunities when they go past their due dates.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Meaning due dates, meaning proposal or?
Yeah, the proposal due dates.
Awesome.
This is Stephanie. I'm fairly new to using it. So right now, the only way I'm kind of using it is for pursuits and opportunities. I haven't really dived into looking at workflows or anything like that yet.
Okay, awesome. Well, hopefully you get some good insights on things you can use it for. Anyone else?
I know at Krause Anderson, we've been using it. I know on the backside, we've had workflows set up to help some of our things kind of automate a little bit more, but I know we've been testing a lot more different options now. Because we use our widgets for a lot of things, especially when it comes to sales and stuff. And then some people go in on the back end and change something and it'll really mess something up. So now we're starting to use workflows to email me if something gets changed so that we know it was changed. And so.
Do you do that mostly for opportunities or for projects as well? Like you change this project description? Like
we use it on the opportunity side for that because a lot of those widgets that I use for our sales and stuff is opportunity based. So that's where some of that stuff is, some people go in the opportunity and update the cost or something like that. And we already counted it, as a sale or did something with it already, and then it'll mess everything up. So that's why we did it, so that I get notified if something gets changed. I know on the project end, and Natalie can maybe back me up on some of that, because I know some of it was set up prior to me using it. So I know that some of our fields were they're automatically populated when you
set actions and
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
Yeah, like if this, then that kind of pops out. So that's good to hear.
But we're starting to explore them a lot more because there's so many different uses with them. So just kind of seeing what works, what doesn't,
Mhm.
testing different options lately.
Yeah, that's awesome. How to make the system work for you. It's interesting that you don't adjust your opportunity data. Is that after a specific time or after an opportunities one, you don't allow changes to the cost?
It's after we won it. And I mean, I kind of get into specifics a little bit here,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
it's after we kind of counted it as a sale or counted it as a project on the opportunity side, we update then the project side. As we have the opportunities in the system and we haven't counted, we're still pursuing them. Yes, we do update them and there's no problem with that. It's just after it's like, okay, it's a done deal per se. We don't want that record.
You don't want that updated.
But on the
data.
project side, we do update that and we want the most current accurate data.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. I just not going down a rabbit hole. But that's awesome. That's a great.
Which you totally do with this stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I could just keep on going, but that's a great usage of it. I can see all those issues. Anyone else have any good workflows that they're using? Yeah, anyone using it for like a go no go process? Yeah.
How would you do that? That sounds like a great idea, but I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so right now I'm implementing for a client. We are implementing a go no go stage. Of course, at that stage, specific data points have to be filled out to be pushed into the go no go email. But in addition to that, they have a lot of what I would call gray area data points that are not captured in a value list. So it's more like questions like, what's your temperature on this client, or what's your this and that. So for those items, I'm actually putting those into a go no go form that will then be attached to the go no go email. So the data points, which is like the dates, the dollars, competition, obviously start dates. That'll go into the email itself, and then the go no go form will get attached to that email. And then they have a really complex distribution list that we're kind of working towards. But essentially that email will get distributed to their what they call business unit leader, but that would be their like their market sector leader, and maybe their other people in the industries or in their office. They'll get that email with the content of the data points that they need to assess the opportunity with the form, and then go from there to be able to make their decision. And then once it's a go, then obviously you go to the next stage. If it's a no-go, then it goes to the, did not proceed stage.
So here at McGough, we have 4 stages that we go through. We have what we call a lead, which is kind of, okay, we hear about it, we enter in the information, and then we have a team that goes through, at least here in the Dallas office, this is how we're using it. Then we have a team that sits down a couple times a week and goes through the lead list and says, which ones do we actually want to go after?
Mhm.
Or which ones we want to move into what we call positioning, which is what we say we want to do, what we call a pursuit smart meeting. And that's where it's a meeting with some of the executive team members saying, do we truly want to go after this? And if so, here's why we in Dallas want to go after this. And then once we get to that, go through that, then we move it into positioning or to proposing.
Mhm.
And then, or if they say, no, we don't want to go after it, then they'll go and select no go. And then they'll put in the reasons why, whether it's bandwidth, McGough choice, whatever. And then it just goes off the list. It goes into a no-go list.
Yeah. Are you capturing the data points as you're discussing them before you make the no decision? Are you capturing that in the record?
Data points like dates
Like,
and
You mentioned that you're
descriptions
discussing
and-
like, why would we go after this pursuit? Like stuff like that. Just offer.
I'm not sure exactly what they're doing as far as capturing that information. I think it's more or less they just look at the project, they look at what's needed when it's due, what the project description is, all of that, and then which we enter in at the lead portion.
Mhm.
And then they're kind of deciding, okay, from there, let's have what they call a pursuit smart meeting, where they sit down and actually really discuss it and probably pull together the project team
Mhm.
and all of that stuff. And, you know, like I said, I'm kind of starting to get into this more now with Holly and our Minnesota marketing group, as far as learning it a little bit more in depth and becoming an administrator on it.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So it sounds like you're more so just capturing the data field of why you're not going after pursuits, which is very helpful at the end of the year, but you're not necessarily capturing the why you're going after pursuits.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless they're putting it somewhere else that I don't know about.
Yeah, yeah. All right, anyone else? Or did anyone have any other questions on a potential go, no go process? There's obviously other processes that you can use. You can, instead of using the form, you can implement value lists within the record to capture that data, which the nice thing about doing it, not using the form and using an actual value list to capture the data, is that then you can report off of those values, like show me all of the, client sentiments, opportunities, show me all of the client sentiments, and you can get that in a report. If it's in a form, a go, no go form, you can't report off of that data. I would absolutely recommend, if you decide to use the go, no go form, you have like a toggle that says we used a form on this record. So you can at least pull that and then pull all of those PDFs that way to view the data within the PDF, because the data in the PDF is not reportable. Anyways, I'm talking about go, no go process. We are talking about workflows. So no other questions there. What about, is anyone, so we talked about set actions. Is anyone else using set actions? If so, what kind of set actions are you using?
What's a set action?
So set action would be like, say you have market sectors like healthcare and commercial, but you have a sub-market of MOB and healthcare. So to make it easier on your users, you can say, I don't want people populating the market sector. They just need to talk to the sub-market. So if I select MOB as my sub-market, after I save that record, the market sector automatically gets tagged. So if this happens, make that happen. If I enter somebody's separation date, then 2 days before their separation date, make them inactive.
Is that different from workflows?
It's in the workflow module.
Oh.
So the work you have, if you go to your workflows, you have the option of creating an email or a set. So when you see set, select set, and then it'll say, upon create, if this happens, add this value.
Oh, yeah, I think we do have those. We have, if somebody selects a specific office, it'll autofill the sub-region and the region.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, we have
Yes.
those.
If you entered this city, add that region. If you enter
Mhm.
this zip code, add this sub-region, or, you know, it just makes less data points for people to have to populate. But of course, it has to be very, you know, you have to have two value lists that strictly talk to each other. You can't have a value list that talks to two different data points, then it doesn't work.
Yeah, we use that at Geotex because we classify our sales by revenue market segments.
Mhm.
And we have it tied to a company record. So when a company is created, a certain revenue market segment is tied to it. So anytime a new opportunity is created, it automatically pulls that market segment so that people don't get in there and get confused on, well, is it private or is it education or is it a municipality? It auto sets that once it's created.
Yeah. Especially for like school systems, it can get confusing. Do we put this under municipality or do you put it under education? Obviously, you have to make that decision. And sometimes people are like, well, I don't know which one. So it just kind of makes the decision for them. So if you have a one-to-one value list, you can eliminate that question for your users. I do know coming out soon, they are going to do the tree branch of values. Like if you select this market sector, you can only select from these values, which will be helpful because it'll make it to where when you have that municipality level or, you know, I choose commercial, but there's a clinic within that, you know, that building. It's a commercial project, but there just happens to be some healthcare component. You want to be able to tag that too. So I don't know when that's coming out, you know, it's Uninet, but anyways, okay, so we have any other usages of set actions anyone is using that's pretty cool?
Well, I guess it's not really cool, but I mean, we have like a prospect type and stage. So sometimes once in a blue moon, people change one, say to closed, but not the other. So we have that. So if they change one, it'll automatically get closed on the other side. And I know on the project side, we have, you know, because there's different, I was trying to kind of looking at our workflows.
Yeah.
There's contract types and then there's, you know, I can't even think of the word I'm thinking of, but if you change one, it will automatically change the other. So
yeah. In the prospect type, is that like we won this project, change the prospect type to current client?
Well, and we don't go as far as that. And I mean, this is a little, I think we just did this within this year. So perhaps we'll go a little bit deeper, but our prospect type is prospecting, submit a bid, you know, won the project, close the project, inactive, that kind of stuff.
I see.
The other one is the leveling, the lead to the prospect, to the high potential, you know, and up to the sale. So if one person closes the opportunity, but it's still in prospecting, it'll still show up on reports.
I see.
And then it'll kind of confuse everybody because it'll be closed on one hand or one side.
Yes, and open on the other. Got it. So you have like two levels of, yeah. I've had something similar to that case, like to be able to pull create certain revenue projections the way the CFO wanted them pulled. I had to have two win probabilities. And so obviously for functionality's sake, I just had a set action setting that so people didn't have to sit like, why am I putting this in here twice? It's like, well, because that value doesn't work in the widget. So we had to create a second value to be able to pull it. Although now they have that feature. So awesome. One workflow that I did not hear, which might be helpful, is reopening closed opportunities. Anyone using anything like that? So that's like you won the project was lost or it's canceled, and now a year later or 2 months later, it's being resurrected. Now we opened it and put it back into a prospecting lead. As we all know, when you close something, there's automatically a close date that's associated to it. This workflow will eliminate that and reset it to open. So then it'll, that seems to be a pretty big one that people overlook and end up using quite a bit. So
Yeah, we recently started using that at Geotex because we were having a problem with running our weekly awarded reports. And if the close date didn't match, it wouldn't pull in our report. So we started implementing a workflow that if it was a closed stage that went to an open stage, it will then, once it's reclosed, it re-triggers that opportunity close date to the
Yeah.
last modified date.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I believe that's what you have to use is the last modified date
Yeah.
to get it to work. Cause it's, sometimes you have to, use for certain set values. It is so you're like, this value is not there. This date field's not there. But if you use the last modified date, it'll get you what you want. The other thing, is sometimes the value, you won't see the value in the list, but for some of the set actions, for like some of the projects and opportunities, you can actually populate the value in, you can create the value in that drop down. You have to find the back end. I probably have to show you guys. I'm not going to bring up any computer, but if you can play around with it, if you find the back end value, you can actually create the value. You know how when you go in there and you get the drop down list and you're like, oh, that value is not there. I can't address that setting. There's certain ones where you can actually add the back end value and then do your, if this happens, add that. Just something to play around with. Awesome. Let's see. Is anyone see? I'm talking a lot. Am I missing? Does anybody want to like share anything? Is anyone using workflows to like manage the collection of project project data for your marketing team? Like these values are empty. Can you help, populate this data, sending that out to project teams to fill in data?
Yeah, we're currently using reports based on whether projects have images or not and trying to get those collected.
Nice. So if there's no image on this project, please provide or set up something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm curious, you mentioned the set action. Where do you find that in workflows? Is it under workflow if you do a new workflow and then one of those things as you work your way through?
Yeah, go to new workflow. I can't necessarily show you because, but I will walk you through it. Go to workflows. And then, create a new workflow and then go to workflow action. You can just skip the top.
Oh, add action and set action.
Yeah, add action. And then select the set. So there's an email notification set.
Yep.
And then that's when you can start playing around. Obviously, you need to select your resource in the event. Like, is it a date trigger? Is it an update? And so typically most set actions will require 2 actions: upon create, upon update,
Okay. I think I actually use those now. I just didn't realize it was called that.
If you're trying to backfill data, you'll definitely want to do like an update and a create. So you can as people manipulate records, it'll update those old ones for you. So it's nice to have them.
Okay.
Right. So if you're saying you're missing a lot of market sectors, you can say, okay, upon create, always add this market sector, but you need to backfill data, then do upon update. So that way, anytime somebody manipulates a record, you're populating that data in the background as well.
Okay. I didn't realize you could go back.
Like that's more for like implementing a new value list. Then you want to create it on both ways. So you can backfill data.
Yeah, we kind of use that as almost kind of like an auditing kind of issue because we've got a couple of people with all their fingers in the bowl and they'll go in there and they'll see something that's been triggered and go, well, I don't think that's right. And they'll change it. So our update feature fixes that if it's incorrect.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's a great way. Like, yeah, no, it's supposed to be right here. It is where
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. Sorry. Like every time I do this, it always goes back. And you're like, oh, I'll submit a ticket for that. Awesome. All right. Anything else? Anyone sending like win notifications to accounting or emails to yourself saying that a new project has been created in the system, anything like that?
That's a great idea to include accounting. I send win notifications to the team that put the proposal together, but I
Mhm.
don't think to add accounting to that.
Yeah, especially if the opportunity is converted, I mean, they're repopulate. If you don't have the two-way data connector, then yeah, populate, have that be your job setup form. Here's the start dates, the end dates. Here's the information that you need. Have that automatically go to them. That just kind of alleviates, your PM from having to create that data. That can be helpful, or send it to accounting and the PM, or I say PM, but whoever the opportunity owner. I come from a GC, so it was usually the PM or PX, but I know we're multidisciplined in here.
Yeah, I know I wrote down a whole bunch of ideas when I think
Yeah.
Courtney did one of her most
Uh-huh.
recent ones, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Well, that one is too, because we always send out emails at 30 days post, and try to gather all that stuff. And
Yeah.
everyone has a million different forms they're filling out, all our project managers and stuff, and so they just don't do it. So it's like, well, can we start utilizing this for it? Will they do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have a whole list, and a lot of what you guys said was mentioned. I do know that we've been having problems with a bug with date issues. I don't know if you're aware of that. I know Courtney Vance has been helping me, but it's been since like the fall. But like, for instance, we have estimated in opportunity side, but estimated sale date, estimated start date, and completion dates. Well, people change one date and not the other dates. So we're trying to do something if the start date is before the estimated sale date, trigger an email or something. And
Yeah.
there's been some kind of bug with that forever. Does anyone else have issues with that?
I have not had any clients have that issue. I don't think I have very many I have some with some really complicated ones, but not associated with dates more
It seems
so.
like it would work fine, but for some reason we just can't get it to work. So
Yeah. I always build it's hard when I'm on a call. I'll be like, oh yeah, this is how you do it, and then I go and look in there like a day later. I'm like, what did I do? Like,
I know.
so sometimes you might just need to like get off the call, go back in. Did I set that right? Like,
I have a whole bunch of drafts and playing around.
yeah, I get
But I
stage
utilize them a
fright
lot more.
sometimes. Yeah. Well, before we go, I just for my own knowledge, is anyone using any of the calculated dates, like to create durations, like duration fields, like counting? I know we're over time. Just wondering if anyone's found success in that. Okay. I have not personally played with it, so that's why I'm asking, is to see if people have had success with that. So awesome. Well, this has been great. Feel free to, I do see somebody left a question and we are over time. So thank you. Have to go to another call. Bye. Anyways, well, thank you guys so much. It was so nice meeting with you, and I look forward to the next my next call. Have a
Great.
good
Thank
one.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.